I got another sticky note. It was on the driver's side window of my car this time. I just clocked out to go on my lunch break, but now eating was the last thing on my mind. If anything, I wanted to retch up all the contents of this morning's breakfast. This time, instead of the usual yellow sticky note, it was blue. You look lovely in blue. My hand shook as I clenched the note between trembling fingers. I was wearing a cornflower blue dress today. Balling the little paper in my fist, I threw it on the ground and I stomped on it with my heel. I was tired of looking over my shoulder. I was tired of being anxious. I was tired of being on edge all the time. There had to be a way to figure out who was doing this. Getting these sticky notes all the time was almost like Chinese water torture. Small and insignificant, but mentally taxing over time. Each sticky note I received was slowly eating away at my sanity, and if I didn't get a grip, I was afraid I was going to lose my mind. Just to be safe, I hastily scanned my surroundings before doing the same with the inside of my car. Once the coast was clear, I unlocked the door and settled into my seat. I've actually been compiling a list of things I think might help me uncover this sticky note stalker. 1. I was convinced that it was a he. Maybe? The handwriting was nothing elegant, no loops or swirls or curly cues. Quite the opposite, really. The writing was always in black pen and always written in all caps. And it was always pretty thick, maybe like he wrote with a heavy hand. And the pen itself might have been a felt tip. It didn't look anything like how a ball pen might write, gliding across the paper in smooth, thin lines. 2. I have received a total of 12 sticky notes, and they've always been yellow, except for today. 3. The majority of them have been posted on my refrigerator. 4. He knows where I live and where I work. 5. He's smart enough to be sporadic when it comes to the day and time he leaves them, but up until today, he had enough of a pattern I could follow where he would put them at least. They were either stuck to my refrigerator or my bathroom mirror. Now, I'm not really sure what to think. This is the first time I've received one from outside my apartment. Looking at the crumpled piece of blue laying on the ground just outside my car, something inside me urged me to look at it just one more time. Cracking open my car door, I reached out and snatched it up. Closing the door, I locked it and unrolled the paper. My eyes scanned over it again. This time, I noticed something strange. On the corner of the sticky note was a weird little arrow-shaped marking. My finger traced the marking, searching for an answer. When I pulled my fingertip away from the paper, though, black ink followed. This was fresh. Not enough as to smear when I crumpled the paper, but enough that when I pressed my fingertips to the lines, it squared across the pad of my finger. A mixture of fear and paranoia gripped me and refused to let me go. My eyes darted around the parking garage again. Was he in another one of the cars watching me? Had he already fled? My mind was a train flying off the rails, and it was almost too hard to keep up. More importantly, though, what was that marking on the corner of the sticky note? And did the others bear the same marks? Shoving the sticky note into my purse, I drove back home and locked the door behind me. My chest heaved as I fought to catch my breath. I know for sure that I raced past 2 tenants having a conversation on the stairs, and I'm sure they thought I looked positively mad running across the parking lot, like my clothes were on fire. What were his intentions exactly? I had no clue, but I did know that none of his notes had been threatening, yet. If anything, they were just unsettling. Kicking off my heels, I ran into my room and yanked open my bedside drawer. Pilfering through the various sticky notes, I pulled them all out and laid them on the bed. None of them shared any kind of resemblance to the blue one. I felt like I'd hit a dead end, until my eyes zeroed in on something that made my blood run cold. There, in the very corner of the sticky note closest to me, were some very small dots and dashes? Not enough to notice when you read them individually, but together? Hurriedly, my eyes scanned over all of them. Only 4 contained these strange marks. None of them seemed to match up with the blue sticky note, though. Confusion curled around my thoughts. Perhaps he'd been leaving me hints, little breadcrumbs. Did he want me to find him? Were these markings just ink splatters? Maybe I was reading too much into it. Or Was this whole thing a game to him? Looking at the markings again, I tried to piece it all together, but I just couldn't figure it out. What did these 4 sticky notes have in common with my most recent one? Or were these 2 different messages altogether? I don't know if this makes any sense to any of you, but I just had this overwhelming feeling that the markings aren't a coincidence, connected or not. They have to mean something, right? Here are the dots and dashes I found on the 4 sticky notes. I'm gonna read them aloud in the order that I received them. Maybe some of you can help me make sense of this. Hopefully you guys can figure it out. Perhaps I should just play him at his own game. Leave a sticky note of my own? What do you think? Anyway, here are the dots and dashes on the sticky notes. On the first one, it reads, dot, dash, dash, dot. On the second, it reads, dot, dot, dash. The third, dot, dash, dot. And the fourth, dot. What do you guys think of this? Do you know what it says?